Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Flynn and I am the owner and maker of Flynn Sisters Boutique. And today we're going to be doing a fun summer design using some beautiful floral vinyl and of course my Flintstones. You're going to see all the products in this video listed and linked down below in the description box. You might even find some discount codes for you there as well. And you guys, don't forget, FSX members save 15% off all Flynn Sisters Supply Shop products all the time. You can find the link to sign up down below in the description box. And that's enough chit chat for me. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here's a rundown of the products that we're going to be using today. And I'm going to start by doing my vinyl wrap. This is just regular adhesive vinyl that I got from itsPrettyPersonal.com. I will have it linked in the description box along with a discount code. And I'm going to draw a true straight line down the side of my cup using this handy dandy ruler that I got from Kelbell Customs. It's going to ensure that my vinyl is lined up perfectly. To apply our vinyl, I'm going to peel back 1 inch of the paper backing and then line that up with the line that I just created. Once we have that anchored on there and smooth, I'm going to use my large squeegee to apply the vinyl to the remainder of the cup, pushing back the paper backing of that vinyl with my squeegee as I firmly press it down onto the cup. And really take your time with this. You'll notice that I'm not pulling back that paper backing at all. I'm letting my squeegee do all the work. Once we get the vinyl applied all the way around the cup, I'm going to apply a very thin line of masking tape to act as my guide to trim the overlap. I want just a tiny bit of overlap when I trim the excess. And then for the top of my tumbler, I'm going to run my craft knife right along that top rim to trim the excess. And I'll just cut the excess around the bottom with some scissors. Once I've got the excess vinyl trimmed off, I'm going to run the top and the bottom of my tumbler through my edge trimmer. On the bottom of my cup, I like to go 2 rungs up from the bottom. And then for the top of my tumbler, I go 1 rung up from the bottom. This is my favorite edge trimmer. I got it from Amazon and I will link it in the description box. Next, we're going to apply our Summer Vibes decal. I designed this decal myself in Cricut Design Space. It was super simple to do. If you guys want a separate tutorial for that, let me know. But I'm going to apply the white part of our decal first. This is like the offset layer, I suppose. It's just easier for me to layer the vinyl once it's on the cup versus trying to layer it before I put it on the cup. Lately, that's been working out better for me. So anyway, once we get this all measured and centered and everything looks nice, we're going to lay that down. I'm applying my vinyl using the hinge method like I normally do. I just leave an excess of transfer tape around the decal so I can use that to anchor it onto my cup while I measure and make sure everything's straight. And then I peel back one side of the decal, apply that first, and then move on to the other side to make sure everything goes on nice and smoothly. For the top layer, we're using this pink holographic opal vinyl. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorite vinyl colors of all time. I use it quite a bit. And we're just going to line this up by sight. You'll notice that I cut my decal in half because it's going to be easier to line up the bottom part of the Vibes oval versus trying to do everything all at once. Once I'm done with all that vinyl work, I'm going to apply my first coat of epoxy. I'm using 30 milliliters of my Artist Cure formula today, and I'm going to apply that all the way around our cup like I normally would. You'll notice that I've already taped off the bottom of my cup. If you're not taping off the bottom of your cup, you can go ahead and skip that step. I do take off my tape immediately after I'm done applying my epoxy, just because I almost always forget, and it doesn't turn out any better or worse for me depending on when I remove my tape. While my epoxy is still wet, I'm going to sprinkle in some chunky glitter. This is Pink Platinum XL from itsPrettyPersonal.com, and I thought it was absolutely perfect for this project. And I'm sprinkling it in pretty heavy along the top and the bottom rim, fading up into the top. I don't want to add too much glitter, Just remember, you can always add more, but you can't take away. So less is more on this. I just want to add a little bit of sparkle around my cup. I'm going to let this roll for a few hours, and then I'm going to come right over the top of this with a second coat. This second coat actually ended up being my final coat because it was absolutely perfect. I did use 30 milliliters of my Artist Cure formula for this one, and I let this dry for about 8 to 10 hours before we moved on to the next step. Once my cup is totally smooth and perfect and I don't need to add any more epoxy layers, I let my cup sit for at least 24 hours before I moved on to this step. I've got an e-file that I got from Amazon, and I'm using the little pointed attachment that comes with the file. And I'm just going to use that to rough up all the spaces within the letters that we're going to be blinging with some rhinestones. Take your time with this and be very careful so you don't accidentally scratch the final epoxy layer where it's not supposed to be scratched. The reason we need to do this is we need to create a mechanical bond for the adhesive for our rhinestones to bond to the epoxy, and the epoxy is glossy, so we can't just put a glossy drying glue over a glossy surface because it's not going to bond well. So that's why we're going in with this little e-file, and I love how precise that tip is, so you can really get into all the spaces and make sure you properly prep that area. Once we've got everything roughed up that we're going to be blinging, I'm going to lightly spray this down with some rubbing alcohol, clean it up with a paper towel, and now we're ready to jump in for the fun part. I've got an 18 gauge blunt tip syringe needle here filled with liquid fusion adhesive. The liquid fusion adhesive is available on my website at FlynnSistersSupplyShop.com. And we're just going to apply very small dots of glue to where we're going to apply our rhinestones to fill in our Summer Vibes decal. If that'll make sense. You want to be very conservative with your glue, and if you accidentally add too much, maybe before you add the rhinestones, just wipe it off and try again. Because we're leaving the beautiful shiny finish from our epoxy coat and having the rhinestones, we don't want any excess glue making its way to where it's not supposed to be and potentially messing up that beautiful epoxy coat, okay? So as I'm placing the rhinestones, I've got like a folded piece of paper to line everything up and keep it straight when it needs to be. My rhinestones aren't moving and shifting all over the place because I'm being very conservative with my glue. I'm using Baddiee University to fill in the pink sections, and I'm using various sizes of solid white for the white outline on the summer and the vibes lettering within that pink oval on the bottom. So I actually ended up ripping up all of these rhinestones that I applied in this oval part because I didn't like the size that I used for the lettering. So I ended up taking these off and using SS3s and SS5s for the vibes letters, and then filled in the spaces that way. I really was not thrilled with how that turned out. I did the same thing for the summer up at the top. So I did all the white outline first with SS6s, putting dot by dot of glue down and stone by stone down, trying to keep everything straight and as lined up as possible. After I would get a line of stones down, I would use my little folded piece of paper to kind of shift them and make sure they were lined up nice and straight. This took a good amount of time and patience, but it was my first time doing something like this, so it took a little longer than I had anticipated, but I feel with a little practice, I probably could have finished this easily within an afternoon. And it was a lot of fun to fill in the outlines with Baddiee University because it has itsy bitsy tiny pieces and then really big pieces, which makes for an easy scatter fill on a project like this. Once I was all done, I let that dry for a couple days before I washed everything up and shined up those stones. And that's it for the tutorial. I love how this turned out. I think this is such a fun way to integrate rhinestones with your epoxy tumblers, and you can adapt this for any kind of season or sports with your kids' names. I just love it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. If you liked my video, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every week. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. And a big thank you to all of our Flynn Sisters exclusive members. Thank you for your pledge. Your support means the world to our channel. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.